All right, so we are here at Hy-Vee, and oh hey Jeffrey, this is Jeffrey. I think he's pretty cool. I don't know if you've been outside today, but the weather is gross and unfavorable. It's unbiblical is what it is. So whenever you go to Hy-Vee, you always you get yourself a little cart. I like the little carts actually, like the tiny little carts. These things are cute. So I don't even know what I'm looking for today. I should probably figure out what I'm buying. I think I'm gonna get some asparagus. I think we're gonna get. I want to get some tacos, so maybe I'll get some ground beef. I got taco stuff at home actually. But I'll get another thing of ground beef. Ooh, I'm feeling it. Pasta. Gonna get some pasta. I got some pasta. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I added some new pins to my jacket. So we have like Winnie the Pooh, Tangled, Robin Hood. We also added a Star Wars pin and a little like a Sorcerer Mickey pin. So that's fun too. And check this out. This is gonna be so cool. Ready for this? Wait. Jiminy Cricket. Whoa. All right, I've recently gotten yogurt with for breakfast. So I'm gonna find out what kind of granola do I want. We're in the healthy bougie section. Oh, so do white chocolate macadamia nut. Should I do chocolate coconut granola? Hold up, the Lord has spoken. I think I'm gonna do this in my breakfast. All right, so now we're gonna get some soda. So I like to get, my personal recommendation is cream soda, but Zevia is filled with stevia, so it doesn't have sugar, but it's still sweet because it's a natural plant and it's good. So, Zevia. Yeah. It's good stuff. Cream soda is the best. Yes. Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. Alright, so in total, we got some asparagus, we got some cilantro, some Brussels sprouts, some jalapenos, eggs, baby carrots, some fish, like some tuna, got some almond milk, some cottage cheese, some red peppers, some granola, some cheese, we got some granola, some ground beef for tacos, got some chicken, got some soda, and we'll see what the total price is. We are out of the grocery store, but into the splash zone because it's raining outside, so have fun. Gonna get wet, putting my groceries away. Thanks for going to Hy-Vee with me. We got some groceries. Man, I'll tell you what, recording in the middle of a grocery store, it feels a little awkward, not gonna lie. Do you like going to the grocery store? I didn't even ask you if you wanted to go to the grocery store with me. How rude of me. I'm so sorry. When I was younger, I really didn't like going to the grocery store because you end up waiting for, things your mom's going to get and things you just don't want from the grocery store. Mainly because, I would go to the grocery store. I would go to my mom and I'll be like, hey, can we get like some Cheez-Its? And she'd be like, no, we don't need Cheez-Its. I'm like, whatever. I think, going to the grocery store can be really, really boring because, when you're going to the grocery store, you're having to walk around, get like these groceries, spend money that you don't want to spend. And if you're a student, you're going to the grocery store, you're just waiting to leave. You're going in so that you're waiting to leave because you're just walking around and there's nothing interesting in the store. It's not like there's video games like you can just start playing. Well, I guess now we can play on our phones. But when I was a kid, you couldn't just play video games on your phone. You just had to sit there and wait until you got home. Now, maybe you do like going to the grocery store. Maybe you don't. But I think at the very least, we can all agree that at some level there are things we just don't like waiting for. We don't like waiting for school to be over. When we're watching YouTube, we don't like waiting for those ads to finish because we want to get back to our video. We don't like waiting for our food to finish cooking. We just want it to be ready, just be done. We want it right then. We're very impulsive people. We want things right now. And we're just not very patient when it comes to that kind of stuff. And it makes sense. Like we want things now. And that doesn't just mean the things that we want. Like I want food now. I want my drink now. I want my game to load now. I want my movie to play now. I want this now. But it's even deeper things than that. It's, I want an answer now, God. I'm confused. I need comfort now. I want this now. I need help now. God, I need an intervention in my life now. God, I need you to answer. I need you to open the door now. God, I need you to respond to me now. God, I need you to talk to me now. God, I need you to give me an answer for the problems in my life now. And that grueling process, that painful process makes us impatient. It makes us impatient. But what's difficult is that if we act on the impatience, if we buy into the temptation, we will create more problems for us. In Genesis, there's this guy named Abraham, and this is a real event that happened several thousand years ago. It's a real event that happened. There's this guy named Abraham, and God had promised Abraham and his wife that they would have a kid. And he was impatient. He was an old man. I don't remember exactly how old. I think he's like almost 100 years old. I don't remember. He's old. That's the point. And he's really old, beyond the point where you're supposed to have a kid. Like, at this point, you're not supposed to have any more kids. It's not physically possible. They believe and they trust in God, but as the years get longer and longer, they become more and more impatient. And so in the midst of their impatience and their frustration, what Abraham did, it wasn't good. His wife offered him her servant girl to kind of, be like a surrogate mom, she can't have kids, so here's this person who will have your kids. And so that's what Abraham did. He had a baby with Sarah's servant girl lady. And then after she became pregnant, then Abraham's wife got really jealous and started beating the servant girl. And that's not good. God did not smile on that. God did not say that was a good thing. God said it was a bad thing, because he told them to wait patiently on him. And so God eventually, he took care of the situation. He blessed the servant girl and her son. They were able to leave. And God, he was actually still faithful to Abraham and his wife. And he eventually gave them the child that he had promised them. But the problem was they created a huge mess of things when they tried to take it into their own hands. And that's the same thing that can happen in your life if you're not careful. God calls us to wait patiently on him. In Psalm 27:14, it says, wait patiently on the Lord. Be strong, be brave, be courageous, but wait patiently on the Lord. And that whole psalm is David, he's writing poetically how the Lord is his fortress, his strength, and the enemies surround him, the adversaries and opponents surround him, and he is scared and he's frightened and he's asking God to be merciful on him, but he's resting in the Lord, and he's saying, I'm gonna trust in him because God is good. So because of that, wait patiently on the Lord. And I know in your life it may be easy to be impatient, to be like Abraham and his wife, who they were impatient and waiting for God to give them a child, so they took matters into their own hands. If you do that, you know what's going to happen? You take it in your strength, your power, your ability, you're going to make a bigger problem for yourself. And you may have already experienced this. You may have already experienced trying to take something into your own hands and making a mess of it. But what you got to do is trust in God. You got to wait patiently. You want to hear from God? Wait on him. Talk to him, but wait patiently. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but wait on him. If you want an answer for something, you want clarity, you want comfort, you want peace, wait on the Lord. Wait on him. God will answer. He will answer. He's not ignoring you. God cares about you and he loves you. He's not going to just listen to what you ask for him. He's not going to listen to your prayers. He's not going to listen to your cries and just ignore you. No matter what you're going through, he loves you. He cares about you. So how can you wait on God? How can you wait on God? Give it time. Don't rush. There are ways that you can be actively waiting. It's just like we're going through the grocery store. It may not be fun to walk through the grocery store and get groceries. We want to be finished with that process. But you know what I'll keep you doing as I'm ready for it to be finished, like the groceries, ready for the groceries to be finished? I'm picking up groceries. In the midst of waiting to be finished with grocery shopping, I'm picking up groceries. I'm shopping. So you can actively wait on God. You don't have to just sit there on your bed and just... You don't have to do that. You can actively wait. Actively wait on God. So in the midst of when you're asking God a question, when you're asking Him for help, you can actively wait. How you actively wait is by sharing His good news with others, serving other people, keeping yourself busy, so to speak, by loving others and sharing His grace and His goodness and His love, serving those around you, reaching out to somebody and asking them how you can pray for them. Actively waiting on God, you can call one of the people in your small group, talk about the things that you're wrestling with. Maybe God will speak through them to you, and you just have to be willing to open up to somebody else. You can be writing these things down, learning through Scripture, but trust that God will answer. He's going to answer you. You just have to wait patiently. That doesn't mean that you just have to sit on your bed and just sit there in silence until we find any answers. Wait actively. Do things. Serve others. God knows where you are. He's not just like waiting for you to sit there in silence. Sometimes He does. Like sometimes you do have to sit there in silence for a little bit. But sometimes God, He knows exactly where you're at. He's going to use the movements of life, the rhythms of your day, the people that you talk to. He's going to orchestrate certain things where you're going to hear His answer. He knows where you're at. He's going to meet you there. He knows you. He knows your rhythms. He will meet you there. I wonder what it would look like if we all understood what it meant to wait patiently on the Lord. I think God would do some powerful things through us. I think we would be a student ministry who would be there for others and would be serving others and would actually become wiser, because in the midst of the waiting, God works on our hearts and makes us to be more like Him. And through that, we also are serving others, and they get to see us in the midst of that waiting process. This past Sunday, you were talking about waiting on God, which is what we're also talking about. And you had this interesting quote about like God does like the best work in the waiting. And I was wondering if for all of our students, you could like remind them of what that quote was.
I think waiting is hard work, that's for sure. Time is one of God's most effective tools to make us like Christ. I believe what God does in us while we wait is just as important as what we're waiting for.
Was that just like something that just came to your head one day and you're like, this is good?
When you have a few years under your belt, you've waited a few times. I waited for Ellen. My version of our relationship's different than hers, but I would say I waited for her for 7 years. And in the waiting, there was a growth, there was a patient trust, there was a deep prayer. I really love this girl and I wanted to marry her.
Yeah.
So it comes out of a little bit of life experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think scriptural patterns, God chooses to let His people wait.
Yeah. And I think that lines up like why He makes us wait is because He wants to do work in us in the midst of the waiting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, He's discipling us. He's growing us. It's a patient trust. And again, my favorite illustration from Sunday was the trapeze artist. The catcher catches, the flyer has to relinquish trust to the catcher.
Yeah.
Because if the flyer tries to catch, he screws up the whole rhythm. God's our catcher. We're the flyer, and we wait for His strong arms who will never leave us or forsake us. We can trust His word, He'll catch us.
That's good.
Yeah.